Hello. Hey.
Hi.
How's it going, everybody?
Getting good food to eat.
Got those Thai
Lunchtime.
wraps, peanut sauce. I'm Josh Williams. I'm a product manager at Starbucks.
And I am Cher, and I am a technical lead.
So today we're going to be talking about our new progressive web app. So let's get going. So we wanted to talk first a little bit about why we as Starbucks like progressive web apps, PWA technology in general. And again, as a product manager, I always use all these businessy terms and whatnot. They're marketable.
That's not a word.
Marketable is a word.
That's a made-up word.
It's real. So
I don't believe you.
the reason why they're marketable is they're easy to sell or to be desirable by customers. So some of the reasons they're marketable is they are easily accessible. Pretty much any device with a browser can use PWA. Old, new, bad connectivity. It's easy to actually get and use this product. And it also has a consistent UX across all of those devices as well. So it's very desirable, both from a customer perspective and from an internal perspective, building an application that can be used across so many different venues.
So if you're at home or you're at the office, you can place an order on, your desktop computer, or you can be on the go and on the mobile device and not have any surprises.
Yep. Also, because it's web, accessibility is just as easy as it is with other web technologies. So there's such a great expanse of knowledge around accessibility for web and web standards with W3C.
The Worldwide Consortium.
That's it.
Shows its age by the name.
So it's great. When you think about accessibility from a native perspective, we always encounter some challenges. iOS comes with a pretty strong offering in terms of accessibility tools, whereas Android is something that's just getting to the field and actually learning how to do this from a scalable standpoint. So web, though, it's known. We have engineers who know how to build for accessibility, and so that's really awesome and one of our core values as a company. Also, PWAs, well, they aren't the ones. PWAs aren't what brought about mobile-first thinking. That's kind of an old thing. PWAs make a relentless focus on app-like performance, app-like UX, and so it's really helped us figuring out our vision for what even web is going to look like as a company to nail that user experience and just relentlessly focus on the transactional, not financial transactional, just customer in and out, using this as a tool and application to go about daily life.
And really recognizing that it's not just about mobile is so popular because you can take it on the go. It's also about the experience. And we've worked really hard to make sure we bring those same successes back to our desktop website as well.
Yeah. And lastly, for anybody who deals with DevOps and general operations and release management, web is really easy for ops management. If you break something, you can fix it minutes later. If you are trying to release a new feature, you can do it so much easier than waiting
without your product manager's consent.
They do that all the time, actually.
Yeah, I know.
It's crazy.
Okay.
So yeah, sometimes we're releasing up to 10 times a day for web, whereas mobile, we generally don't release more often than once a month, sometimes a little bit faster than that. But so lots of benefits as it relates to ops. So who here already has the Starbucks app? Anybody already use that? Got a few of those? Cool.
Heck yeah.
So even if you don't use it, you might be familiar with Barcode Pay, which is a feature that it had its origin in our gift card use, and it developed over time with our rewards program. So when we actually had, we brought the physical gift cards into the digital experience. This is how customers walk into a store, pay for their coffee, and then also get their stars that they earn for that transaction and can redeem that for free stuff later on. So with our PWA, this introduces a lot of the technological advances to make that possible on web.
So the basic things that we use are client-side caching, service worker, and reactive programming, and that gives us our barcode pay. We tend to assume that everyone has a terribly unreliable internet connection. And this is especially true for our customers that are going from Wi-Fi point to Wi-Fi point, different cell phone towers. Some are better than others. And typically what developers do in these situations is that we write, error handling code that tells the user that their connection is bad and we couldn't get them anything, and then we show them a blank page and some kind of error. But we started to think, like, is that really necessary? Do we need to tell them that they don't have a connection? Maybe the last data that they looked at is perfectly good data, and it's actually what they're looking for. So we found that it's way better to show the user the last thing that they looked at and keep trying to fetch new data as necessary, hidden in the back behind the scenes. And so the way we do that is by creating resilient reactive programming. And it's also called spreadsheet programming. And this is because
I know a little bit about spreadsheets.
That's not what I meant.
Like Excel.
Yes, like Excel, but in the way that when you change a cell in a spreadsheet, that cell doesn't call all the other cells and tell it that it changed. Instead, it's the other way around, where the other cells reference that result, and if they need to change, then they do. And this is also called the propagation of change. So we can write a data structure that acts in response as it searches for equilibrium to make sure that the two sides are the same. And we do this using data streams. And as JavaScript programmers especially, we're used to writing, listening to data streams like event buses like clicks and hovers. And we can also do that with anything, because anything can become a data structure that can be observed and reacted to. In our app specifically, we use React and Redux, and we use reducers and selectors. And we really like Redux because it really does give us that resilient data structure and resilient handling of that complex data. So we have a code example here of what we're talking about as far as fetching data as a last resort. Here, we only fetch the data when this returns true. And what it's saying is basically that anytime data is missing when the two streams are compared, or it's older than 5 minutes, or you're on the home page, then it refreshes and tries to get that data. And if you, as a developer, try to write code that does that same thing without these complex state management systems, it's just dozens and dozens of properties that you have to keep track of, and it's way too difficult. So it's easy to make a mistake, lose track of a failure, and get back to that blank page state that we don't want to show the user. So we use our stale reducers to encapsulate and test that hard stuff. And once we allow this type of state management without exposing ourselves to mistakes. So we can take a snapshot of the entire Redux state at any point in time, and it will just cascade down from that point. So when we look at the cache, if the user needs to be updated, then it will. And we persist things and read them from cache, so we kind of get to this point where it doesn't matter if the user is currently in the store trying to connect to a Wi-Fi point, the barcode pay will work.
Yeah. So also one of the features that we brought to the web for the first time with our PWA was actually order ahead. So this was a feature that took mobile pay on native to the next level and enabling our customers to actually place an order ahead of time actually getting to the store. Now you can actually do that on the web without having to have the native app installed. You can do it on your mobile device, you can do it on your desktop. We actually see quite high usage on desktop. Even though the overall volume of customers is lower, we get a lot of mobile traffic. The transaction rate on desktop is significantly higher than we even expected when we first released it. And then also, in general, I know there are some technical considerations as to why PWAs make our ordering feature much more resilient and reliable.
We do use the same technology that we use for everywhere else. That's one of the benefits of building a PWA with componentized system. We can reuse it anywhere in the same app. We can use this technology outside of the app. So it's just that same kind of thing.
Sweet. So with that, kind of an early read to share, especially from a UX focus. We didn't want to focus on really the financial performance. We wanted to focus on what our customers are actually telling us from a usability perspective. So one of the metrics we use a lot is stickiness.
Like stickers?
A little bit different from stickers.
Devs really like stickers.
I know they like stickers. I grabbed some stickers to bring to our
Really?
devs. Yeah.
Did you get one for me?
You can have some.
Okay, cool.
So the stickiness I'm talking about is the daily active users divided into the monthly active users. So of all the customers that are coming every single month, how many of them actually come back every day? So when you know that calculation, you get a better understanding of how useful your tool is, how useful your app is. So this is something that you might not have really, really high traffic because you're not a huge retail company, but when you can focus on this ratio of daily to monthly, you can start to understand the utility of your application. So really important to focus on there. The next one was the System Usability Score, the SUS.
Another acronym for some reason.
I didn't make this one up though, so
Okay.
yeah. SUS is great because it is an overall usability score for how easy is it to use an application, how familiar is the application when you revisit it, how's the navigation structures. And then overall, we saw a pretty big increase, 19% increase on mobile compared to our previous web application. And then same thing for desktop, a 14% increase. So pretty big performance jumps as it relates to system usability. So good stuff we've seen, really exciting. Ready to take it to the next level too as we're developing more and more features for our PWA. And that's all we have. Thank you for coming and listening in.
Yeah, thank you.